Slap on those gloves and pull out your resin, 'cause today we're making galaxy dice. Ooh, yeah. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Garage Quest shop. Today I wanted to do a tutorial on how I make galaxy dice. So let's get started. So as usual, we're going to start with some casting resin. I use Alumilite clear cast, equal parts A and B, mix it up. There's absolutely nothing unusual about that. Then I am pouring it into 3 different cups, as well as keeping half of the resin reserved in the main cup. That one is going to be used for your base color. So I'm adding my base color now. I'm trying to make a dark purple, and you can use a dark blue or a translucent black. And now I'm adding my glitter component. I hate glitter, so I am using a color shift powder. It adds a really nice colorful sheen when you look at it from different angles. Ooh, yeah, look at that. And I find it kind of makes that star field effect once it's dried. So I really like the color shift powders. Now I'm going to go ahead and add a bright blue to 1 cup, a bright pink to the other. And in the third, I use a bright purple, but I also add some opaque white. And the reason I do that is it's really nice to have a tiny bit of an opaque color inside your galaxy dice in order to make a more Milky Way nebulous effect. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish whipping those up, and then we will move on to filling our molds. So I'm laying out my molds, and this would be a good time to turn on the air compressor since it needs 4 minutes to warm up, and no one ever talks about that. I don't know why. Now I'm filling up each color into a syringe. You can use pipettes if you prefer. I think they're a little cheaper. I like the syringe because it's more reliable and sucks better. Now I'm picking up a mold and I'm filling it with my base color about halfway, maybe even a little less. And once I've filled it to the halfway point, I hold it closed and I start to swirl it around a bit. This is going to help prevent you from having any harsh lines. And it'll really help with the blending later on down the line. So now I'm going to go ahead and do that for every mold before I move on to the next step. So I just finish up here, and then I'm going to grab my bag of Mylar flakes. Get some Mylar flakes or some Mylar and cut them up into flakes, and then just put a tiny bit into each mold at this point. I don't like to overflow these because you don't want it to take on an opalescent effect as opposed to a galaxy effect, but I do think putting 1 or 2 flakes does add to the prismatic effect that really makes a really great space look. So now I am going to use all 3 of the bright colors in this mold. And what I like to do is grab the syringe and really jam it into the mold. Make sure that you are opening the mold so you can fit it in. You're not going to just pour this in through the sprue. And you really want to penetrate beyond the surface of the resin that's already in there. And the reason that is when you push, the pressure will spread the color. But if you just pour it on top of the base color, it's likely to sink and blend. So you don't want to do that. You want to really get that syringe in there. And you're going to do the same thing with the other 2 colors. And once you've done that, if you find there's any extra space, you certainly can add a little more of your base color, although I find it's not usually necessary. Now you're going to see I grabbed a toothpick here, and that's because I really felt like the way I put the resin into that particular mold, the resin separated quite a bit, and I thought it might be beneficial to go ahead and give one quick swoosh, one quick swirl of a toothpick in there. I don't recommend doing any more than one quick swirl because then you risk your colors mixing instead of just sort of blending next to each other. So now I'm just going to finish up the technique. Got my D2 going there. And now we're ready to clean and tape. So I just grab a rag, I clean the sides, and then I grab my trusty Scotch tape. I go through so much Scotch tape now that I make dice. So I'm just going to hold the mold together while I tape it, and that just ensures that none of the resin is going to spill out the sides, and it prevents any mega flashing. A little flashing is always going to happen, but that's okay. And now we just put it in the pressure pot for 24 hours at 40 to 60 psi. It's the next day and I have pulled my dice, and I have to say they are absolutely beautiful, though the lighting here doesn't quite do it justice, but don't worry, I have a luxury roll for you. Thanks for watching.